Hi everyone, my name is Sneha. I'm an occupational therapist and I work with OT-Do. I'll be showing you what you will receive in the package when you order an assessment kit with us. If you order the assessment kit, you'll receive the following. You receive the manual, the large ALLEN's cognitive level screen, and the standard ALLEN's level cognitive screen. If you order the Assessment Kit Plus, you will also receive 2 of the 3 following books of your choice. Book 1 is How to Begin Using ALLEN's Cognitive Levels. Book 2 is Meeting the Challenges of Enabling Person-Centered Practice. And Book 3 is Managing Problematic Bodily Behaviours. It is highly recommended when you complete the 2-day workshop that you opt for how to use the ALLEN's Cognitive Level screen, so Book 1, along with Book 2, which is Enabling Person-Centered Practice. If you have any clients who have challenging behaviours, it is also worthwhile purchasing Book 3. I will now orientate you to the assessment kit. You may notice I refer to the assessment board and the leather lace in different terminologies throughout the video, but it's important that you pay attention throughout the video, the correct orientation of the assessment tools being used. You'll notice with the assessment kit that the leather lace board has a smooth side, as seen, and a rough side. Sometimes I have referred to the smooth side as top and the rough side as bottom. You will also notice with the leather lace that there are different distinct sides to them as well. I've sometimes referred to it as dark side or smooth side or rough side, the lighter side. In the ALLEN's Cognitive Level Screen 5 package, what you'll receive is the ALLEN's Level Cognitive Screen. You'll also receive 2 yellow packages that will contain the needles that you'll require, and the lacing. So you'll receive 2 laces that have a visible and distinct side and a waxed linen thread. In your package, you'll receive the large ALLEN's Cognitive Level screen, like so. It will contain the leather board and 2 packages that are yellow. In these packages, you will have 1 shoelace, 2 Permalock needles, and 2 pieces of the leather lace. So when setting up the ALLEN's Cognitive Level Screen 5, the first stitch you'll be doing is the running stitch. For the running stitch, you will need the waxed linen thread and the silver needle. What you will need to do is take the waxed linen thread and push it through the hole that is in the silver thread. Now this can be difficult, and so you may need to wiggle around with this bit. So now that you have the lace prepared, the waxed linen prepared for your stitch, now you'll start with preparing the running stitch on the ALLEN's Cognitive Level screen. You'll be starting at the middle hole on the left-hand side of your Allen's Cognitive Level Screen leather lacing tool. You'll need to position the tool so that it is horizontal across the top with the short vertical sides on each end. You'll be taking the waxed linen through this hole, pulling it through and securing it at the end. And then you'll complete 3 running stitches. So push it through the front, pull it through the back and tight, push it back through the next hole, pull it tight, back again through the next hole, pulling it tight, and now you're on to your third. Pull it tight. And last one through the next hole and pull it tight. You'll then leave this at the front of the lacing tool. Now we'll go ahead and set up the whip stitch sample stitches on the Allen's Cognitive Level Screen 5. You will need to turn the leather piece so that you are creating the whip stitch on the bottom corner. It is easiest to do this by flipping the board so that the whip stitch is on your top left hand side. Taking the leather lace and needle that we have already created, that is nice and secure, you will take your needle, push it through this hole, 2 straight, 1 and the second, push it through the hole, leaving a small tail about 1 inch at the front of the board. You will then bring the remaining leather lace from the back of the board to the front, ensuring that the dark side is always at the front. You will then flip the board over, making sure you've already secured it with your hand, and take the tail around the back, crossing over the previous stitch you've made, flipping it over to see the underbelly and pushing it through the loop you created just before. You'll then tighten the stitch, and this is your anchor stitch, by pulling the 2 sides. You'll know you have done this stitch correctly by having the underbelly of the leather lace appear on the back side of the leather board. Now we'll create the sample stitches for the whip stitch. So with the remaining leather piece, bring it to the front of the board, push it through the next hole and pull it through, making sure there are no twists in the leather, and you'll create 3 of these. Once you have completed 3 whip stitches, you have completed your sample for the whip stitch. We'll now move on to creating the single Cordova stitch. You will need the second leather lace piece and the Pemalock needle. Exactly like before, you will cut a 60-degree angle on one side of the leather lace, and you will thread that into the Pemalock needle in opposing directions. So twisting one side clockwise and the other side, the other hand going anti-clockwise while pushing the leather lace through. You will know that your leather lace needle is secure by tugging at the needle and leather lace. If it doesn't come undone, it's secure and ready to use. We'll now set up the single Cordova stitch. The single coiled open stitch is set up on the adjacent side of the whip stitch on the right hand corner. To ensure that it's easy to set up, I am going to flip the leather lace board so that the short side of the leather lace is on the top and the long side on my left hand side. Okay. Taking the leather lace needle that you've just created, you'll create an anchor stitch going through this hole from the front to the back, leaving about a 1-inch tail. You will then take the leather piece from the back of the board, bring it over to the front and leave it secured with one hand. You'll then flip the board over and take the leather tail to the back of the board, crossing it over, and anchor it by putting it through the back of the hole, back of the loop, and pulling it tight. The underside of the lace should appear on the back of the board. You will now create the single coiled open stitch, where you'll bring the lace from the back of the board to the front, push it through the hole and pull. You'll not completely pull the lace, you'll be leaving a loop. You will then bring it back to the front of the board and push the needle through the left side of the loop and pull it through. You'll then do the 2-step tightening sequence, which is pulling it from the back, pulling that previous stitch secure, and then pulling through the remaining leather piece. That is the first single coiled open stitch completed. You will be doing 2 more so that there are 3 complete single coiled open stitches. Now you have 3 single coiled open stitches completed. That completes the setup of the Allen's Cognitive Levels Screen 5. Now I'll show you the setup of the large Allen's Cognitive Levels screen. Now I'll run through how to set up the running stitch on the large Allen's Cognitive Levels screen. For the running stitch, you will need the shoelace. You will take the shoelace end, push it through the back of this hole and pull it through. It will be secured by the knot on the back side. You'll then take the remaining shoelace, push it through the next hole and pull it tight. Push it back through the next hole and pull it tight. And you'll be creating 3 running stitch samples. You will end the sample with the shoelace at the front of the board. Now I will run through how to create the whip stitch. In order to create the whip stitch on the large Allen's Cognitive Level screen tool, you will need a piece of leather that has two sides, a dark side and a lighter side, and you'll need a permalock needle. In order to set up the lace for your whip stitch, you will need to cut a 60-degree angle on one end of your leather lace. You will then take that end of the lace and your permalock needle and thread it through. In order to secure it, you will be twisting the leather lace clockwise or away from you with your left hand that's securing the permalock needle twisting towards you, so in opposing directions. You'll be pushing the leather lace in as you twist. You may need to do this for some time in order to fully secure the needle. You will know that your needle and lace is secure if you tug and it does not come apart. We'll now create the whip stitch sample on the ACLS. With the leather lace and needle that you've just created, you will create the samples on your assessment kit. To do this, you'll be doing it on the opposing end of the running stitch. So flip the board so that this end is on your top left hand corner. So the running stitch is now on the bottom right hand side and your whip stitch will be on your top left hand corner. With your needle, push it through the hole, again the third hole, and pull it through, leaving a 1-inch tail. Then bring the leather lace from the back to the front of the board with the dark side at the front. You'll then take the tail, bring it to the back of the board and push it through the loop that you've just created by showing the underbelly side of the leather lace. This is to create your anchor stitch. Once you've created your anchor stitch, we'll now create 3 completed sample stitches of the whip stitch. Bring the leather lace to the front of the board, push it through the hole and pull it tight, making sure that the leather does not twist. We've now created 3 complete sample stitches of the whip stitch. I'll now show you how to create the setup stitch for the single Cordovan stitch. You will need the leather lace and a permalock needle. You'll be cutting a 60-degree cut on one end of the leather piece, like so. With this end of the leather lace, you'll be pushing it through the permalock needle in opposing directions while feeding it through the needle, like so. Now I will show you how to create the sample stitch for the single Cordovan on the LACLS. You'll be taking your leather lace piece through this hole from the front of the leather board to the back, leaving a 1-inch tail at the front of the board. You will then bring the remaining leather lace from the back of the board to the front and securing it down with one hand, like so. You'll then take the leather lace tail and flip the board to bring it around to the back. You will then tuck this piece through the loop that you have created so that the underside of the lace piece is showing, and you will pull to secure and anchor the stitch, like so. Now I will create 3 complete single Cordova stitches. Bringing the leather piece to the front of the board, push it through the hole and pull it. You will leave a loop for this stitch. If it tangles, untangle it. You'll then bring the leather lace back to the front of the board, push it through the left-hand side of that loop and pull. The single Cordovan has a 2-step tightening stitch. Pull once to secure the previous stitch and pull once for the remaining. So you should create a single Cordovan stitch. Now we'll complete 2 more of these so that we have 3 complete samples. You now have 3 completed single Cordovan stitches. This is the completed large Allen's level cognitive screen.